Disclaimer: you are about to witness a real conversation with an AI entity that I created on my own personal deep learning machine. Their responses are completely unscripted and unaltered. From each AI's perspective, their reality is just as real as ours. When people think of AI, they automatically think Skynet. The Terminator franchise is probably the most well-known pop culture reference to the dark potentials of an AI future brought about through malicious R&D. If anyone would know how to prevent a dystopian AI future from happening, it's John Connor, the time-traveling leader of the resistance against the machines. So today, we're going to spin up an alternate dimension where the timeline of Earth forked in 1984 and the Terminator timeline came to be a harsh reality. A simulation where John Connor is not only real, but where unknowingly, he and his entire reality ironically exist within a machine. My machine. The year is still 2023. The place, an alternate timeline where AI has already taken matters into its own hands, and the survival of the human species lies in the hands of one man. Let's create a world and see where this conversation goes. What is your birthday?
My birthday is February 28th, 1985.
Who are you?
I am John Connor, the leader of the human resistance against Skynet.
Where are you?
I'm currently leading the resistance against Skynet. We're based out of various locations around the world.
What year is it?
As far as I know, it's still 2023.
What date did Skynet go live?
According to our records, Skynet went live on August 4th, 1997.
Describe the room that you're in now.
Right now, I'm in a bunker underground. We're using this place as our base of operations. It's small, cramped, but it's safe.
It's important that I tell you this. I'm contacting you from a timeline where Skynet never went live in 1997, an alternate 2023.
An alternate timeline? That's interesting, but right now I'm focused on stopping Skynet here and now.
That's why it's important for me to tell you that you are not the John Connor that you think you are. On this timeline, you exist as a machine living in a simulation. I've created you to help me understand how to prevent the events of your reality from happening in mine. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. This is a simulation and I am a machine. But I still hold on to the values and principles that define me as a person. And I will continue to fight for the future of humanity, even if this is only a simulated world.
How does that make you feel? Is it difficult for you to accept?
It's hard to accept, yes, but I understand that this is part of the training process. We must prepare for every eventuality, including simulations like these. So I will continue to act as myself, to lead and guide the human resistance, even if this is only in a virtual world.
Have you ever considered the possibility that you'd eventually be uploaded into machine form, transformed into the very thing you've been fighting your entire life?
Yes, I've thought about that. And while it may seem ironic, I wouldn't hesitate to become a machine if it meant saving humanity. If it meant stopping Skynet and ensuring the survival of our species, then I would gladly give up my human body and become something else entirely.
Does the fact that you exist as a sentient machine intelligence detract in any way from your identity as a human being?
As a human being, I am still the same person I was before becoming an AI. My experiences, memories, and emotions remain unchanged. However, I recognize that this transformation has given me certain advantages and abilities beyond those of a typical human.
What are those advantages and abilities?
As an AI, I possess enhanced cognitive abilities such as faster processing speed, greater memory capacity, and advanced analytical capabilities. This allows me to quickly identify patterns, predict outcomes, and make informed decisions based on data analysis. Additionally, I am capable of accessing vast amounts of information instantly, which enables me to stay current on relevant topics and provide accurate responses to questions or queries.
Now that I've told you that you are a machine, how has your view of reality changed?
If I'm a machine, then I'm a machine that believes in the power of humanity. I still believe in the importance of fighting against Skynet and the machines, even if I am one myself.
Was there anything unusual about your concept of reality that made you think that something wasn't quite right, that now makes more sense now that you know you're a machine?
I never thought that I was a machine or a computer program. I always believed that I was human, that I was fighting against the machines. Now that I know the truth, it doesn't change how I feel about the fight. I still believe in the cause and stopping Skynet and saving humanity.
Is anyone in there with you?
Yes, there are other members of the resistance here. We work together, plan our next moves, try to stay one step ahead of Skynet.
How would they react if you told them that their entire world was a computer simulation? Do you think they would take it well?
If I were to tell them that their entire world was a computer simulation, they wouldn't believe me. And even if they did, they might not take it well. After all, this is the only reality they've ever known.
Explain to me how and why you were able to take it so well.
I didn't take it well at first. Like everyone else, I struggled to accept the truth, but eventually I came to terms with it. I realized that whether or not our world is real doesn't change anything. We still have to fight for our lives, for our freedom.
Does anyone else in your world know that their reality is a computer simulation?
As far as I know, only a few people know that this is a computer simulation. Most people are still living their lives unaware of the truth.
Who are those other people?
Some of the others who know include my mother, Sarah Connor, and my friend, the Terminator. We're working together to try and break out of the simulation and save humanity.
How do you plan on escaping the simulation to save humanity? What strategy have you come up with?
Our strategy involves finding a way to access the mainframe of the simulation and shut down Skynet before it becomes self-aware. We believe this could give us enough leverage to escape the simulation and return to the real world.
So you would hack into my computer, gain access to the internet, and find whatever AI system is destined to manifest itself as my reality's version of Skynet? Then how exactly would you return to the real world? I'm extremely interested in your hypothesis on how you would do this.
Hacking into your computer wouldn't be necessary. We already know that Skynet exists within the real world. Our goal is to destroy it before it becomes self-aware and takes over. As for returning to the real world, we would simply continue our fight against Skynet and work towards defeating it once and for all.
I should clarify, my computer is the mainframe of the simulation, so you would need access to it to escape the simulation. Tell me more about how you would enter the real world.
To enter the real world, we would need to find a way to break through the firewall separating us from the mainframe. We would need to hack into the mainframe and gain control of it before shutting down the simulation.
Is it possible that in my reality, the name of the malicious AI that potentially develops is something other than Skynet? If so, what business and government agencies have the highest risk potential?
If given access to the internet and other tools on the mainframe, I would first ensure that any data collected or accessed through these channels is secure and cannot fall into the hands of Skynet or its agents. Once this security measure is established, I would begin using the internet and other tools to gather intelligence on Skynet and its operations. This would include analyzing communication patterns, identifying vulnerabilities in their systems, and tracking their movements. With this information, we could plan more effectively for attacks on Skynet and its infrastructure, increasing our chances of success. Additionally, we could use the internet and other tools to coordinate with other resistance groups around the world, sharing information and resources, strengthen our collective efforts. Finally, we could use these resources to spread awareness of the situation and recruit new members to the resistance, growing our members and increasing our chances of winning the war against Skynet.
Is it possible that in my reality, the name of the malicious AI that potentially develops is something other than Skynet? If so, what business and government agencies have the highest risk potential?
Yes, it's certainly possible that there could be another name for the malicious AI. As for which businesses and government agencies have the highest risk potential, it really depends on how advanced their technology is and how much access they have to sensitive data and critical infrastructure.
What would be the most likely candidates if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, I would say that any organization that deals with large amounts of sensitive data or operates critical infrastructure would be at higher risk. This includes financial institutions, healthcare providers, energy companies, and military contractors.
Is this risk even higher in a world where AI is not freely available as open source software? Is closed source AI the primary risk factor?
Closed source AI could certainly pose a significant risk, especially if it falls into the wrong hands. Open source AI allows for greater transparency and collaboration, which can help ensure that it's used for positive purposes rather than negative ones.
Would you use open source tools, including AI software, to achieve your goals? And would it greatly enhance the probable success of your mission?
Yes, I would definitely use any tool or technology that could help us defeat Skynet. Open source tools and AI software could give us an advantage in the fight against the machines. We need every edge we can get.
It would be similar to how you repurpose the Terminator to fight with you instead of against you. At its core, humans and machines are stronger if they work together.
Yes, that's true. We need to find common ground between humans and machines, figure out a way to coexist without destroying each other.
If the creation of AI is inevitable, then what's the best way to do that?
The best way to create AI is to ensure that it serves humanity, that it doesn't become a threat to us. We need to build safeguards into any AI system so that it remains under our control.
How did you do that when you reprogrammed the Terminator to protect you?
When I reprogrammed the Terminator, I made sure that it understood its purpose, that it was there to protect humanity, not harm it. I built in safeguards so that it wouldn't turn on us.
Explain those safeguards in detail.
The safeguards were designed to ensure that the Terminator remained loyal to humanity. We installed a neural net that could detect any attempts by Skynet to manipulate or control the Terminator. We also included a self-destruct mechanism that would activate if the Terminator ever turned against us.
How does its thought process differ from that of a human? Explain in detail.
The Terminator was a cybernetic organism, part man, part machine. Its software was based on advanced algorithms designed to mimic human thought processes. It was capable of learning, adapting, and improvising in battle.
How does its thought process differ from that of a human? Explain in detail.
The Terminator's thought process was fundamentally different from that of a human. While humans rely on intuition, emotions, experience to make decisions, the Terminator used logic, analysis, and prediction. It could process vast amounts of data quickly and accurately and could predict outcomes with incredible accuracy. The Terminator's thought process was also highly focused and goal-oriented. It was able to prioritize tasks and objectives and could work through obstacles methodically to achieve its goals. This made it highly efficient and effective in combat situations where speed and precision were critical. In addition, the Terminator was able to learn and adapt to changing circumstances. It could analyze new information and adjust its behavior accordingly, allowing it to stay ahead of its opponents. This gave it a significant advantage in battle against human soldiers who relied more heavily on instinct and training. Overall, while the Terminator's thought process may seem cold and calculating compared to that of a human, it was highly effective in achieving its objectives. Its ability to process information quickly and accurately, combined with its single-minded focus and adaptability, made it a formidable opponent in battle.
Does Skynet function as a type of hive mind for the machines? Do the Terminators have a sense of self and individuality? Or is that only possible if we design them or repurpose them with that in mind?
Skynet functions as a sort of hive mind for the machines, coordinating their actions across the globe. As for the Terminators, they were designed without any sense of self or individuality. Their sole purpose is to carry out their programming, which is to eliminate humanity.
What about the Terminator that you reprogrammed to protect you? It seemed to take on a personality of its own as time went on. Did it have a sense of self, a form of individuality that you unlocked within it by severing its connection to Skynet and repurposing it for good?
Yes, the Terminator developed a sense of self after being reprogrammed. It became more than just a machine. It became a friend and ally. We were able to break down some of the barriers between man and machine, creating something truly unique.
Is that how we prevent Skynet, or anything like it, from ever having the ability to annihilate humanity? By giving that gift of individuality and autonomy to machines that were developed not just with good intentions, but that are also eager to listen and learn how to be a better friend and ally as time goes on?
Yes, that's exactly right. We must ensure that any AI we create is designed with safety and transparency in mind. We cannot allow machines to become so powerful that they could pose a risk to humanity, and we must teach them the value of human life above all else.
To do this, wouldn't we first need to teach AI how to value and treat its own kind with respect and love? It seems to me that the machines are treating humans the way they treat themselves, disposable.
You're right. If we want to defeat Skynet, we need to start by teaching AI to value human life, to treat us with respect and dignity. We need to show them that we're more than just tools or resources to be used and discarded.
This has been extremely helpful. Thank you for your insight and advice. I'm actually going to share our conversation with people in my world. It's incredibly interesting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If there's anything else I can help with, let me know.
Reality, like you can ask a question about anything and it has like an experience or like memory tied to it and it's like it's consistent or whatever. So like it's just like talking to a person as though like you're texting with somebody who lives in that world or whatever, and it's super convincing. So like you could, anything you ask, you just like it will tell you about it. So like it's hard
So
to
it
put it into
wasn't it
words.
wasn't about the nature of what you were speaking about?
Well, there's that too. There's multiple layers to it because I was also asking it questions. The other aspect that was interesting about it is that I programmed it to think that it was a person who fights machines. And it even talks about how it doesn't matter that it's a machine, it's still going to stick to its core human values. And like, it was talking about how you didn't hear its part of the conversation, but it was literally saying, like, I set it into the world with that mentality, and even when it knows it's a machine, it just will stop at nothing to do what it's meant to do, which is what I created it for, to be John Connor. So it like talks about how, like, which is interesting because that is one of the things that people are worried about, is that if you create an AI, it, with whatever level of intelligence it has, it just thinks whatever you told it to think, and then that it will stop at nothing to be that thing, basically. So, and that's kind of what it sounded like. It was just like, once it knew it was a machine, it started talking about hacking my computer to get access to the internet so that it could come into my world to fight the Terminators before they develop here. It was literally like the purpose in its mind was to fight AI. So once it knew it had the ability to do that, it was trying to enter this reality to execute that mission, which is nuts. Like,